You're listening to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. Before we get started, make sure you find us on social media at Facebook and Instagram at Range Minded, where you can find all the extra content we talk about, including links and more. This is episode 152, a special if sad episode, because this episode is my last. Now, Range Minded will still continue to go on with Steve and Nick, but in this episode we talk about how the podcast got started, some of our favorite memories, and I answer Steve's 5 questions. As always, thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy episode 152 of Range Minded, the last podcast for Mark Long. Hello and welcome to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. My name is Mark Long, and I am again joined in the flesh
by me, Steve Zimmerman.
That's right, all the way from Eastern Idaho, and Nick Hoffer is here as well.
I am, and Steve's here 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I know, isn't that exciting?
Because I get to teach a class today.
Yeah, what class are you teaching?
Just a basic handgun class. Nothing exciting.
Well,
it is, honestly, my favorite stuff is to teach noobs, though.
Yeah, it's exciting for new people, I would say. Yeah, so we're here. We're again in the fun room.
Mm-hmm. We've been banished to the fun room again.
Yeah, and we're again operating during store hours, too, so we may have some interruptions as we go in and out here. Whatever,
definitely will. You might be able to even hear customers. You hear that?
In the background, yeah. There's some stuff going on. The ranges are open today?
I think so.
Just at the time of this recording.
We also have one of these.
Steve said he wouldn't purchase a firearm while he was here, and yet...
May have lied.
I was reminding him that his wife said if he bought a firearm, I don't remember what the repercussions were, but she did say he could not buy a firearm this trip.
I'm buying a handgun, not a firearm.
Okay.
That's my justification.
Okay. There's the distinction. So, but unfortunately, this really isn't going to be the happiest of episodes.
Are you okay, Steve?
Yeah. It's not a tumor.
Okay. Well, you shaved your facial hair again, so I thought maybe you were doing chemo.
He just never grew it back. So.
Okay, side note. Have you guys seen Larry Vickers lately? He's got like lymphoma.
I was going to say, doesn't he have cancer?
Yeah.
He looks terrible.
That wasn't like not a good say. I was making a joke
bad
about
segue.
it. Yeah.
I know, but that just made me think of, like I said, totally unrelated, but maybe a little bit related.
Yeah. So, but I guess the best way to say it is, unfortunately, for some personal and professional reasons, this is going to be my last podcast on Range Minded.
Not the last Range Minded podcast, but
no.
Mark decided that his livelihood and well-being is more important than hanging out with us.
Well, just some professional conflicts that can't really avoid, and something had to give one way or the other, and so I have to step away from the podcast and let Steve and Nick take over.
Yeah, and we understand. Like, I don't know when you told, because you called me as soon as you found out.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
And I don't know if you thought I was going to be all, what? This is ridiculous.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, surprise.
He's just taking it in.
He's absorbing.
To figure out how Steve is going to guide this show like Mark does.
Nick is going to go through, he's searching his feelings right now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it shouldn't take too long.
I only have 2, so.
It's kind of bitter. It's actually not bittersweet at all. It just kind of sucks.
It's no sweet at all. Yeah. Well, and if you guys don't remember, Mark does have a professional career.
Right. This is not my day job.
With audio work and various things, and we understand.
Yeah, it's a bummer, and I'm not happy about it, and I'm sad I have to step away, but I don't think I'm going to be a stranger to the shop, and maybe I can pop on the podcast every once in a while or so. So
yeah, he'll be getting lots of phone calls from Nick and I. How do you do this?
Yeah, that's another thing.
What does edit mean?
I guess if folks don't know, I kind of am the wizard behind it all to make it sound as good as it does. Mm-hmm. So
so. Some of the next episodes might really sound like shit, but
well, the content will be good. The audio quality might not be as great, but because we recorded a bunch of different ways here in person and recorded online and all that, and we've even been out on the floor, during the
some of our sales event things,
events and all that, which was always a good time. So, but I thought we could take this kind of time to do, especially because also we went through 150 episodes like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, we did kind of bypass it. And also, could you kind of throw in some Sarah McLachlan music in the background?
Some real sad music, the ASPCA music.
You can't sing that because we don't have the rights for that. Sorry.
Well, you see, I changed it just enough to where we, because it's arms, not eyes, so we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it's fine. It's a in the style of. It's not really the song, but yeah, I thought we could. I guess since we didn't do that, we could kind of combine a retrospective of the 150th and kind of just talk about some of the good times we've had and good memories and stuff.
So
and
I remember that was sitting in the big classroom.
Yeah.
With Ricky when we brought you in. And what did we bring you in for originally?
So I wanted to my goal was to actually just get into the sport of shooting and get into the gun world a little bit more, because coming from Illinois and a place where guns really weren't talked about all that much is why I wanted to. And as I saw it was a new shop opening up, and I said, okay, well, maybe I can be a volunteer or something like that or whatever. And so I sent my volunteer information in to be like an RSO. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll get some free range time and cheaper ammo and stuff or whatever. And then Ricky called me because they asked for my resume, and I just sent my standard resume with all my audio quality or audio production stuff on it. And Ricky goes, hey, I noticed that, you have all this audio production experience or whatever. We were thinking about starting a podcast with the shop. Is that something you'd be interested in or whatever? And I said, yeah, we can come talk about it. So yeah, that's when we met. Because I hadn't met Ricky or you, and we sat in the big classroom and
we talked for a couple hours.
Yeah, we were here for a while.
Did you record it?
No,
we didn't have all the gear yet either.
that was like pre-pilot.
Yeah, that was the pre-planning time. And so then, we decided to do a podcast, and I also was an RSO for a while too.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But that's how we started. It was just, and you already had the name picked out too and everything. I remember that.
Yeah, I just threw it out there.
Yeah, and it stuck. So, but yeah, it was that, and that was about 3 years ago now. It was 2017, I think, when we started.
Grief, really?
Yeah.
2017 was almost 4 years ago.
Don't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's even scarier.
Yeah.
So,
Man,
yeah.
time flies.
Or maybe it was 2018. I think it might have been 2018.
Well, 150.
Yeah, 150 is, I guess, 52 weeks in a year, and we did some, I think maybe we did some re-releases and stuff. So,
Yeah,
so 3 years. I'm sorry, yeah. And so,
Hey,
Sarah, that's how everything started. And
well, not with Sarah, but
but Sarah has been a part of it as well.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us on this sad episode.
No, it is a sad episode.
Yeah, especially
I'm glad I came to say hi.
You just found out.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I'm a little depressed.
I
It's
haven't
okay.
I haven't told everybody. I figured this would be kind of the big announcement or whatever. But
So this is how we'll know who listens to the show and who doesn't at the store, because when they're like, how come Mark hasn't been on lately?
and then the other half of people will be like, "Who's Mark?"
Yeah.
So, but no, we were talking about we had kind of come up with the idea, and I met with Steve and Ricky. It was 3 years ago.
Man, that was long ago.
And I mean that's kind of how we started, and we bought all this gear, and it's kind of funny in the audio world is that if somebody's serious about doing a podcast is when they say, yeah, we'll buy all the gear and we'll make it happen and XYZ and all this kind of stuff. And so we were able to get all this cool stuff and start it up. And do you remember the first ever episode?
I don't remember what was on the first episode, but
The first episode, we kind of introduced ourselves and what we were going to talk about on as the podcast moved forward, but we had to record it in your old office, which is now Joe's office. And none of this stuff was actually working together. So we had to record it to the computer,
yeah,
the desktop computer.
I don't think I ever even listened to that episode.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't
Yeah.
listen to every episode we do?
I live it. I don't need to listen to
So
it.
you listen to it
I
as you
was
go.
there.
I listen to it every Monday.
Do you now?
Yeah.
Are you lying to me?
No, I do. That's how I know when I don't sound good, when I have the wrong headphones on.
The headphones are not what make you sound better.
No, it's the microphone that's attached to the headphones when we do it on
Right.
Skype.
We're doing it remote. Yeah, that's true.
Skype. It's hard to sound good on Skype, anyways.
Yeah. But then our second episode was an interview with Brenda.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So is she still coming around?
Yep.
I haven't
That's
seen her
good.
forever.
She's
Yeah, I
going to
haven't
help
seen-
me take some pictures for our marketing material.
There you
She's
go.
one of the few who was willing to put her face on our material.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she was great. And then,
She's awesome.
and then we just kind of took off from there, and we did probably about 40, 50 episodes. And then
Was Adam our first real guest?
I think Adam
Well,
came.
no, not real guest because we had Brenda.
We had Brenda.
But was there?
we had a lot of people from the shop. We had some instructors that are still here and some that aren't still here. And then, eventually Ricky had to, move along and move on to his next step.
Greener pastures.
Yeah. So, And then, we've had Adam on, and you and I, Steve, have kept this going for a while, and Sarah has been there for quite a while.
You brought some awesome guests on too.
I was able, luckily, to have some people, some friends and family come on and shoot some guns they'd never shot before, which was a fun experience.
First time,
my aunt shot an AR for the first time.
Nice.
And we videotaped it and everything, which was a lot of fun.
She's cool.
Shot a full auto MP5.
Awesome.
Right after that too, she was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do." I'm like, "Look, you're not going to get another opportunity to do this anytime soon. So, I'll buy the ammo. You just have fun."
I think the most fun on an MP5 is not the full auto; it's the charging handle.
Oh, sure.
Anyone who hasn't
HK
shot
slap?
an MP5, the charging handle is definitely the best part.
Yeah, slapping the charge. That's why I bought a CZ Scorpion, because you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then my friend Danny.
Yeah.
Who had never shot a gun before. He had shot a BB gun, and we got him on a handgun, a shotgun, AR, and I think a full auto, something or other. I can't remember what.
I'm pretty sure he did shoot the auto.
Yeah, he did it all in one shot, so he got it all out of his system. So
And he enjoyed it.
yeah, he loved it.
And now he's shooting shotguns, isn't he? Isn't that what his...
Yeah, he's wanting to get into duck hunting and waterfowl and stuff, so he's getting into that. He's a big outdoors kind of guy. He's a big fisherman, does a lot of fly fishing or whatever, but wants to get into the shotgun hunting and all that. So when he needs his hunting license, need to send him your way. So because so forgive me, were you here 3 years ago or no?
I've been here since we opened, since before we opened.
That's right. Okay, so you have been here, but I don't think I met you for about the first 6 months, maybe to a year.
Right.
So because we spent some time together doing, I was RSOing kind of.
Yes, you helped us with the Independent Woman.
Yeah, I was doing it for Independent Woman, and a couple classes is how I started, and then for about 6 months I was RSOing the Independent Woman every
great.
Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah, and we were doing some podcasts in between, and there's a lot of good RSO experience. That was my first like real non-concealed carry class, was that RSO class that you taught.
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing we wanted to do, was kind of get into the RSO world as well, because that was the whole reason I even applied, sent my resume in, and
And here you are.
yeah, and here I am. Because I had started with helping Bill with some classes after getting that RSO certification, which was a lot of fun. So, and then the Independent Woman, and it was fun to see the other side of it. If you just come to a gun range and you're shooting and you're not like, you never worked in a gun range, you don't think about all the stuff I think that goes into it.
Yep.
But then once you kind of get into the day to day or how the operations work, it really is a lot of things happening all at once. And a good, if I go to a different gun range, you really pay attention a lot more to the safety of the way that people are carrying themselves and how seriously they take safety or don't.
Yeah. Or
Everybody's
neglect
pretty
it.
different.
Yeah, exactly. Or some rules or whatever. And the HVAC as well.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
With the ventilation. Yeah. Because
You need airflow?
yeah, right. Well, it's like, and a couple of times where it's like you forget maybe to turn on the fans or something in the range before you go in, and then you shoot a couple of rounds. Man, it's really smoky in here. It's just surprised how fast it can kind of get all all gunpowdery in there. But that was pretty eye-opening, was just seeing how many people come through a range, even if you're just in a class, and seeing how, for lack of a better term, ignorant people can be.
Oh yeah.
Or apathetic.
Yeah, or apathetic, with a firearm, which is kind of scary. But most people, especially in classes, if they're here to learn, they're, open to education about, don't point it this way, or keep your finger off the trigger or whatever. That was, I think, the biggest one, was making sure people kept their finger off the trigger until they're ready to fire. Which I was just kind of surprised, because I don't know, it's just one thing
That's
that
a tough
gets.
one. If you don't have that in your brain when you start, it takes a minute to
And that's why I really I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's why I enjoyed RSOing a lot, is because you can spend a few seconds and teach people or educate people, like, hey, this is why we don't do this or whatever. I think I've told a story before about actually letting people get slide bite. Especially the arrogant guys that think they know everything, and then
Oops.
and then they seem to be a little bit more humble and ready to learn.
Right.
And so, but for the most part, the point of an RSO is to maintain safety, right? That's the whole purpose. And so some of those people don't realize what they're doing is unsafe because they've never been taught.
Yeah, because maybe they're going out to, the desert or something, or an outdoor range, or going out with friends, and they're not.
Their buddies.
The more experienced people aren't maybe educating. But the other thing I think that being an RSO does, it actually gives you confidence of just being on a range. I think a lot of people, maybe especially if they're new shooters, don't go to a range often. Maybe they don't feel comfortable, and then they're not going to shoot as well anyway. But if you're comfortable walking onto a range, knowing how it all operates, knowing what to look out for with safety and stuff, I don't know.
Intimidating to just come in on your own. And be like,
yeah, exactly. It is intimidating, especially if you don't know anybody, you don't have that connection or whatever.
Don't want anyone to think you're an idiot.
Yeah, and especially if there's maybe some different rules or whatever that you're used to or that you're not used to. So being an RSO, really helped. Being an RSO.
Nick's trying to show me something on his phone and it went away.
Oh no, I was just trying to show him that Adam Boyce was liking our stuff right now as we were on the show.
Because Adam's a stud.
After you just talked about him.
Oh, yeah, we sure did.
Ears were burning.
Yeah.
Will probably come up again too in a little while, but being an RSO really does give you that confidence, and really I got what I kind of was looking for out of it. It was more confidence in the firearm world and more confidence at a gun range. Just knowing how it all works and having that knowledge really helps, help me kind of develop my shooting skills and
broaden your horizons.
Yeah, exactly. And the other cool thing, obviously, was meeting a lot of cool people. It's a lot of people that have come through the doors, and a lot of employees.
Good people in this sport.
Yeah, some really friendly people. I've learned a lot.
What are you doing?
Stop paying attention to me. I'm listening and working.
You can comment whenever you want to if you'd like to jump in.
I'm going to jump in here.
Are you trying to find new guys on Instagram?
No, I was posting a picture of us doing this
Help on
live
it.
show on Instagram.
Love you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, he's a social media guy, so I get it.
I was actually trying to do the same thing, but for some reason I couldn't pull up the camera.
But I remember too, one of the first times that Sarah came on, and that's because I think you
I was so nervous.
You were nervous for some reason.
Because I don't like to hear my voice, and I'm always afraid I'm going to say something dumb. But now, as I'm more comfortable with the instructor stuff and talking in front of strangers, I realize if I just keep going,
That's fine.
It's fine. Nobody cares.
Yeah, you just ride the momentum and everything's cool. But
a lot of deprecating humor helps a lot.
Well, and you found your confidence with teaching too, because I got to, as I was RSOing, I got to watch you and Jessica do, the instruction and all that. I think, that probably helped a lot as well,
Definitely.
And, because I think when you started, were you instructing or were you helping with instruction or?
When I started, I was strictly a warehouse person. I wouldn't be instructing today if it wasn't for Steve.
Yeah.
So.
Well, see? So that's the positive impact that Steve has made.
Yes.
One of the few.
One, yeah.
Steve really encouraged me. I was very self-conscious and nervous about teaching, and he
it was obvious though from the beginning that you were able to, use words to communicate your thoughts. Like it's obvious.
I know how to speak.
And, you can communicate.
And
She
and you're
was one
talented.
up on you when you started.
Yeah. She's talented. Like it's looking, working with Sarah.
Yeah.
Even in the warehouse when she was just doing receiving, it was obvious that there was way more potential in her than just typing stuff into a computer.
Yeah.
But I was really good at that.
Yeah, you're a woman of many talents. So
I can receive anywhere.
But yeah, actually, kind of on that note, I think having somebody like you, Steve, to be able to help me along was really
Steve's
integral.
Awesome.
I'm okay. Yeah.
Just to like have a reference of somebody who's been in the gun world for a while and has done a little bit of everything.
He knows lots of
It's
stuff.
kind of nice to know, and I've never felt like that you were like, you don't know that? Like, what's the matter with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've always appreciated that.
I try not to be that guy.
And I think that's,
Everybody
I think
knows
you've
that.
been an integral part in helping me along with my
appreciate that.
firearms journey. So,
I mean, that's why I'm in the industry, is to teach people and help people out. Like,
yeah.
That's my point.
It's not to feed your gun addiction. I had to pull this.
No,
I
that
had
is-
to pull this Glock 42 away from him because he's getting too attached.
That is a byproduct.
Block 42.
Yeah, a side effect.
Well, you say it like it's
Why were you
Toilet
excited
paper.
about
Sarah's
No.
mad it's not a SIG. So,
I
well,
I
there's
know
that.
he pulled me aside when we first got
I
here.
did.
to show me this.
Side note.
Have you?
Hashtag don't tell Chelsea.
That'll be another conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good thing she's not here sitting, because Chelsea was sitting here the other day, last episode, and if she saw that, she wouldn't have been happy. So, but yeah, I mean, and the other cool thing I think is that I've learned is that how big the gun world actually is. You know, I think a lot of people just immediately go to self-defense or immediately go to gun violence or something when they think about firearms. And, you know, I think Sarah can attest to the hunting aspect of it. I mean, that's a whole world, and the long range part of it. And then talking about just the sports of it. I mean, that was one of the first things that got me into here too, and that I was helping with was the competitions that we were doing back in the day that Ricky and you had started, I believe.
Oh, we'll have competitions again someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We missed the Hogan's Alley, and
That was fun.
Yeah, I ran that with Ben actually. I think after like we met or whatever, we were like, yeah, we've got a little station set up. Do you want to run it? I go, yeah. So
was that the one with the shotguns?
Yeah, there was a shotgun in like the trash bin or whatever, and you had to pick that up, shoot a round downrange, and then run to the other side, shoot the round downrange, put the shotgun in the trash bin, get your gun out of a safe, and then do the rest of the qual, which was cool.
Man.
Yeah.
And it was like I had never done anything like that before, and I was like super scared. And I did it twice. It was so fun.
It is fun.
And just getting into those competitions, even just shooting bowling pins, getting in front of the line or whatever. And
The bowling pin thing scares me, and it always has.
well, the real bowling pins,
Yes,
not a
it's-
good idea. The
it
plastic
scares me.
bowling pins worked well, and that's where I learned about stopping power. Because the 22, I would switch between a 9mm and a 22, and a 22 it would just go straight through. It wouldn't
shooting.
knock it over, and it's like you could see it move, but it wouldn't do it. So, but that was really where I think I realized like how fun like competitive shooting can be.
Yeah.
And how much fun and how much of it is of an actual sport, and I think some of the defensive capabilities and self-defense come along with that, with your proficiency and confidence with shooting. But that was really a big thing for me.
Yeah,
And then,
for me, when I was shooting competitions, it was my skills. They took a skyrocket in
Yeah.
my ability of target acquisition and whatever.
yeah, really quickly.
Oh, look,
yeah.
Joey's here.
Oh, it's Joey.
Say hi, Joey.
It's not Joey.
Oh,
It's not
Not me.
not Joey. What do they call the anti-Superman? Bizarro Joey. That's who it is.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Oh yeah, there's Joey's been on once or twice or three times, right?
at least once. Oh, now who else we got?
We
coming in?
probably need to have him come back in and update us on what he's up to. He's always changing.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
Joey.
Don. That's There's Don.
Yeah, it's a busy Saturday today.
give Don
Yeah, I
a
was
hug.
happy to
You're
come
welcome
in
to
this
come
quiet
back.
room.
Give Don a hug from me. Tell him I'm in here.
All right. Sorry, I didn't know you.
That guy's a stud.
Dom's
Who's that guy?
awesome.
Don.
Yeah.
He's one of the first members we had here, and
He gave me an Annie Oakley book.
he is
Oh, really?
Yep.
He is an amazing human being. He would actually be a cool guest to
He's
have
a
on.
good guy.
Yeah, very cool.
He's had some crazy life experiences.
Yeah, we've had a lot of guests over 3 years. I mean, like I said, we've had instructors past. We had Bill and
I miss Bill.
Old Man Rob and
That
John.
was an interesting
Did you have
episode.
Rob? That's so funny. I got to
was-
hear that one. Which
Yeah,
one is that?
I think he
We
talked
talked
about
about
safes. Yeah, that was a long time ago. We talked about safes
and probably Remington.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Old Man Remington Rob. We also talked to who else? Adam Boyce, obviously, who's
Aussie
been on two or
Chris.
three times. Aussie Chris, that was probably our big international one. That
Yeah.
wasn't too far into it either. That was
Nope.
like the 10th or 11th episode.
I listened to that one.
Yeah, Chris is really awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
And we had Jessica on as well.
Yeah, the Honey Badger
The
episode.
Honey Badger, yeah, had her on. I think we had her on. I think we had you guys on a couple of.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had Sarah on 3 or 4 times. Never got haven't gotten your husband on yet though.
Yeah, and you never
He
will.
will. He won't. I've tried. I think it'd be interesting to have him on.
I think it would be super interesting. He's a super smart guy,
but Dennis just
Not
doesn't want
his
to be on the
thing.
show.
No, we got it. Maybe we have to pay him
I can.
for say, hey, I want a lesson and I just want like a desktop.
Does he like Kit Kats?
Yeah, we could do it through Skype and just
Yeah, I just
No,
want
and
a
then be like,
desktop
oh, hey,
lesson.
could we?
I just want to Skype with you real quick for
For an hour, it's no big deal. Yeah.
Don't swear. Make sure you're.
Yeah, and make sure your thoughts are collected. Yeah,
I'll ask you 5 questions. That's all over. No big deal.
we had John Carnes on. Remember,
Yeah,
that was a hell of an episode
Yeah.
too. And he's back in the shop now because he was away for a little while, and now he's back here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you just can't resist the pull of independence.
yeah, it seems like everybody always comes back sooner or later. So we had Levi on,
Levi, Cody,
yeah, Dakota.
Dakota. You could never get Jeff on. I
couldn't
don't
have-
think Jeff will ever come on.
Yeah.
Some guys just aren't into it.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, getting in front of a mic can be intimidating if you
Yeah.
don't do it every day. To me, it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
know, it's just a normal thing. But I have to realize that a lot of people don't do this every day and don't think about just talking. So
You know, it took me. God, what was I on here like 4 times before you guys roped me into being here all the time? But it
Yeah,
took
4 or
me
5 times,
It took
yeah.
me almost a year of listening to this to realize when I was driving around in my truck that I heard Mark on the radio.
Oh, that voice, yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
And now every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, I know who that is.
I can put a face to that voice.
That is my day job. I work, in radio and audio production and stuff. And so my voice, if you're in the Treasure Valley, is kind of all over the place. And it's something I don't think about.
Do I have to do a special request when I do my radio ad to get your voice?
Sure, you just ask.
Okay.
Want the Mark Long
Just
voice,
ask me.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I do my radio ad. That's the voice that I want to represent Hoftac Industries.
Oh boy, that's a tall order. That's
But you gotta trust me when I say you've done a lot bigger businesses than mine.
maybe, but that's kind of another thing is like
One holster company.
above the rest. That talking about like opening up like the wide world of guns though in the firearms industry is that like that you kind of opened my eyes to a whole nother industry that I didn't even think about or a part of the industry like holsters and accessories and all that kind of stuff. There's a whole business and world in the gun world,
And that's just my side of the holster industry. Like I don't even get to dip my toes into like the leather side or
Right.
the sewn side, which is 10 times bigger than the Kydex side.
Yeah, if you think about leather, I mean, the leather holsters have been around since handguns have been around.
Originally I wanted to get into, because I love leather work. When I was in high school, I liked to do that. And that's what I wanted to do. That's where my name came from. And I couldn't figure out how to get into it. And I just kind of fell into the Kydex side. But when you look at leather holsters, I mean, there's got to be 50,000 people in the country making leather holsters. And they've been doing it for 150 years.
Oh, there's John.
There's John Carnes. We were just talking about him. His ears must have been burning. Yeah, but I mean,
Again, just like all the last people again.
They try to whisper,
Whispering
but
doesn't help.
Trust me, these microphones, they'll pick you up.
Yeah,
In that case, hi.
the famous John Carnes, repping actually Cody's business.
Yeah.
Red Right Hand.
Did he give you that hat? Because I want one.
You have to do things for it, though.
He was just in here, last weekend? He did a demo out here at a table and whatnot.
Yeah, he was. We had the members only sale, and he had a table at the.
Yeah, I couldn't make it.
He's done some
He's
awesome stuff.
He's rocking and rolling.
He was in my shop the other day and he said he wants to come back on the show and kind of talk about where things have gone with Red Right Hand and what he has going on. So it's pretty cool. He was in, you gave him some trays. You guys follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Please do.
RedRightHand.llc, I believe.
He's a stud.
Yeah. If you search Red Right Hand, it should pop right up. So, but yeah, he's doing really well. He's got some big things coming. But, going back to like being able to see how Kydex holsters are made, like in person,
That was fun.
gives you an insight into how it all works and really the effort and the time and that people put into this stuff. Because I think a lot of people take it for granted. It's online. I'll just buy it. You don't think about how it's made or where it comes from.
That's
Why can't I get this tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's
What do you mean I can't buy it
Like when you
online?
guys came by and we got to show you and it opened my eyes to how other people see the things that we do. Because like you said, I'm making them all the time.
Here's the holster we built.
Steve
Yeah,
is
right.
Carrying the
Steve's
one
still
that we
carrying
made.
with it. Yeah.
And so you get to see how it's made behind the scenes when something ships from online. And that's kind of what pushed me into allowing people to come into the shop and opening the showroom and going back to custom orders. Because when people come in, just like you guys did, they're like, oh, I get to touch and feel it and pick my colors and whatnot. But yeah, people are doing this stuff all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of the stuff that you order online and you're like, oh, that's a big company. Really, they're doing it in their garage. And that's what I learned with the leather industry was like, there's some big leather makers who make holsters, but there's also guys who've been making holsters for 50, 60 years in a 8x10 shed behind their house.
Yeah.
And you would think they were a multi-million-dollar, well, they might be a multi-million-dollar business, but
their overhead is very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably why they're one of the reasons why they're a multi-million-dollar business.
Which really goes, I think, to the craft. Like these men or women that are really creating art. Some of those leather holsters out there that are amazing, honestly, and you can tell that there was care taken, and that's why it was fun. I mean, I've made Kydex stuff for my guns before, and it honestly doesn't look that great. It's functional, but
You just didn't take enough time.
that maybe. But like when we went over to Nick's shop, it was awesome because he had the extra tools and he had
And now that
tons
he's
of
been
knowledge.
there, Steve's got a small Kydex business in eastern Idaho if anyone's interested.
We weren't going to talk about that.
Well, and if I was going to say, if you need a left-handed holster for a P38,
Oh man, I'm still having nightmares about
Nick
that.
is your
build.
guy. Don't say you can get anything.
I mean, you can.
He was excited.
You got it eventually.
Yeah.
He accepted the challenge, but didn't really understand that it was going to suck.
You know what's funny about that gun is, so actually, I have.
Did you get it finished, by the way?
I did, but that's kind of what I was going to
Okay,
talk
sorry.
about. That's like I think other people have had that gun in their hands longer than I have, as I've been an owner of that gun, because like Sarah helped me get it here because I can't remember what, like I think I just had it shipped to the shop. So she, obviously with all that inventory, and Sarah helped me kind of get it here through Gun Broker, and then Nick got me a holster for it, and then Cody chopped the barrel and made it into a cool kind of P38K style thing. But Cody had it for like a year. I think you had it for a couple of months,
I had it
6
for a
months
few
maybe.
months.
Which, I mean, that's one thing in the gun world. If you want something done right, and
You got to be patient.
you got to be willing to wait and be patient and not in a rush, because the good stuff is usually worth waiting for. So that was
Nobody
kind of an
else
interesting
has something
experience.
like that, I'm pretty sure.
Not that I've seen.
I think I've seen it online. Maybe one other person or two other people have like a conversion like that or whatever. And then I kept the original slide and barrel and all that stuff original, and then bought a new slide and a new barrel and stuff to have Cody chop. But and then learning about the Cerakoting experience. That's a whole world that I didn't think of either. And really just to strip it down and then have somebody else do just one color, you don't realize how involved that is. And then you see some of the patterns that people do and just the intricate, Cerakote work, and having to think through, okay, to do this layer, then this layer, then this layer, there's a lot of work that goes into that.
And then you end
You
up
should
with
see my new rifle.
the unicorn.
Yep.
It's a unicorn.
Then the Eddie Van
unicorn
Camo
gun.
1911. You remember that one that I made?
Did you finish that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the extractor broke.
Oh, jeez.
I haven't shot it for a while. I was so mad.
Yeah, but there's a lot that goes into that, and it's a whole world, man. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, is that the gun world is huge, and it's not just pistols, handguns, or pistols, rifles, and shotguns.
No.
There's so much more to it that goes into it.
But what's weird is the community is small.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
or knows somebody that knows somebody, and like Sarah said earlier, you said there's a lot of great people in the gun world, and I don't think I've met anybody that I didn't like in the gun world so far. You know what I mean?
I've met people that I'm like, dude, you're not that cool. Relax.
Calm down.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some people. I haven't met as many people as you have, in the gun world, just because I haven't been in it.
And
as
I'm
long.
not saying I know everybody. Like,
Well,
there's a lot of people Nick knows that I have no idea.
Yeah,
But still.
I don't know very many people.
Yeah.
but you're right. It is a small community, and either if you know somebody who knows somebody or something, or some people just come into the range. I remember when we started, we had some friends of the podcast that we never had on testing stuff out, and
Yeah,
you look at some fun toys.
Did you hear that?
Nick just popped
Wish
his
I
neck.
Yeah, that got picked up.
Yeah.
But just seeing stuff that you would not normally see, like an MP7, for example.
Yeah, which was rad.
Like a full auto MP7. Never thought I'd see that in real life, and just, oh yeah, here you go, there it was.
You want to shoot it? Yeah.
Sure do, yeah. Or even just, having the full auto section here, being able to help people shoot a Barrett, or watch them shoot the 30 cal.
Yeah.
I mean, just some cool stuff, some cool experiences that not a lot of people ever get to do.
We should do a segment where we upgrade people to shoot full auto when they come to the range. Just random pick people. See their
surprise
reaction.
them?
Just a before and after.
Oh, that could
Surprised
be
you
scary.
have to pay for the ammo too.
Remember, yeah, there's 50
No,
rounds
Steve
you
will pay
brought.
for the ammo.
The
That's
store.
part of our Patreon.
Let's just make. Yeah, we do need to set up a Patreon
Yeah.
because it's going to get expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's, I think that was one of, we wanted to do a lot and we've done a lot.
I think we've done a lot what we hope to do.
I think there's a lot more that can still be done too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like I said, this podcast is not dying or
as
anything
long
like
as me
that.
and Steve
No.
can figure out how to upload it.
Well, that's what Sarah's for.
Oh, we're in trouble.
Sarah, you said you're good at typing on a keyboard, so
I can, data entry is my thing.
yeah, and if you
All it is data, and you just enter it.
if you can add some mouse clicks or whatever to
sure.
that, then you'll be good to go.
I'll do it.
So,
So you hear that?
yeah,
She just volunteered.
She's volunteered.
One
to
more
be
thing
the
on her
host.
plate. Now you just have to be dedicated to record an episode every week.
I can do that.
Well, and honestly, maybe then you can get your husband on because then you can convince him.
My social calendar is pretty empty and I don't have kids at the house anymore, so it's pretty.
You've got some
I got
time.
lots more time
Yeah.
on my hands.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot more that we can do. I think the future, is going to be bright. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool things that we can do and move forward with that. So, but yeah, that's it's been a hell of a ride.
Oh, we'll miss you.
That's for sure.
We've really enjoyed having you on. I mean, obviously it was the three of us in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And you're one of the originals, and hopefully you don't make yourself scarce.
No, I don't think so. I'll be around. Might actually have some time to shoot and
Probably
and
ask you to help RSO the Independent Woman when it starts again.
pop by. Yeah, I mean, I don't see myself going away anytime soon. So
Everybody loves me.
yeah, oh, thank you. That's very nice. Even Nick.
He didn't say that though. Did you notice?
That's okay.
I don't
just
say
smiled.
much. I forget that we're not on video.
Right. Yeah. So, but no, it's been a privilege and an honor and a lot of fun, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So,
Yeah.
hopefully I can help out as we go along here and can leave you guys to carry it on.
Yeah.
So,
Legacy. Mark's.
We'll do our best.
yeah. Well, hopefully. So, yeah. I guess do we want to end it?
Well, I do have one more thing. I got
Yeah.
5 questions for you, Mark.
Oh my God!
All right.
I didn't even think about that because I don't think any of us have.
We have never answered the questions.
I've answered the questions.
Well, yeah,
Yes, you
like
have.
3 times I
Nick's the only-
answered the question.
What? 3 times?
Sarah has,
I've answered
Yeah.
the questions.
but Steve, you and I haven't.
Well, I
It's tough
created
to
them.
answer the questions on the spot.
I know. Well,
Yeah, I got you
Go
now.
back and you're like, oh man, I should have changed
now
my
I'm-
answer.
now-
It's been so long since Steve asked a question, he had to pull up on his phone.
Yeah, I don't have them memorized.
Well, actually, that reminds me of the funniest response. Do you remember Levi's answer?
Sharks.
Yeah, we asked Levi, "What's your biggest fear?" And he just goes, "Sharks."
She's like, you asked me.
Sounds like Levi.
that was it.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
I was like, "All right, that was one of my favorites." So, but
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's hear
Okay.
them.
What experience in your life has been the most influential and why?
Oof. I think moving out to Idaho, actually. I've thought a lot about it because it's a big change for anybody to move, across the country or even to a different state or what your not your hometown is. And it sounds kind of corny, but it's really true. I think, when I moved to Idaho, I was still kind of growing up, but like moving out here has really made me like a full adult, like a full independent person.
All grown up.
Yeah, and it's been a hell of an adventure so far. So I'd have to say that for sure.
Sweet. You just won the lottery. It's a lot of money. What are you going to do with it?
You can't buy a Walther.
I'll just buy Independence indoor shooting though. Probably.
Yeah, then you could be back on the
See,
show.
then I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my answers.
Wow.
Buy Independence.
That was a good one.
Okay. Other than sharks, what's your biggest fear?
I don't know. I don't have many fears really. I'm not afraid of a lot, but I guess not leaving a lasting impact or leaving somebody with a positive impact where I've been. I guess not making the world a better place in some way.
Wow.
So
That's a little deeper than some of the
That
others.
is
I
deep.
like that one.
yeah, I try to.
That's much better than
I try to
sharks.
leave things better than where I found them. I wouldn't want to see a shark. I've never seen a shark like in
Especially-
person not behind glass, but
Especially in
A
Idaho.
little shark.
yeah, I
Like
can.
the little aquarium
Like a-
shark.
Oh, sure.
So
baby
speaking of sharks, and you guys brought this up, I was having a conversation last night about sharks. Did you guys see the guy in New York who got arrested and had 2 sharks with him that he was selling on the black market? They went to his house.
Like in luggage?
He had a swimming
Yeah, right.
pool full of sharks that he was selling on the black market.
How do you even?
People are weird.
Because those have to be. That has to be a salt pool filled
Yeah.
with salt water.
Wow.
Don't know the details, just know it came up last night.
Now
when I
that's an
was out.
entrepreneur right
Yeah,
there.
ingenuity.
In New York, no less.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, I did not hear about that.
Not as cool as the Florida guy trying to rob a Wendy's with a gator
Didn't he throw a gator in
the window. And then he didn't even get any money. I don't know.
It's Florida.
He just wanted the $5 bag, the big $5 bag.
But he's an
Spicy
idiot
chicken
because
sandwich.
I'm going to throw my only weapon in the window.
Which is a living
you go.
animal. Jeez.
All right.
Anyway, what would you
Next
say?
question.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest achievement?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
I
planning ahead.
well, I always like to move forward and I like to advance to different things. I always like to be like kind of like leveling up in a way.
Better way to phrase that would be so far.
So
what was
far.
your biggest achievement?
I'd have to say,
That's true. I got to fix that.
I don't know. Like I said, because I already kind of talked about moving out here and like,
Has nothing to do with your fiance or.
well, I mean, just,
She's okay.
I guess just, yeah, she's all right.
I mean, it could be something that you've leveled up in your career. It could be something you started.
Started
Yeah.
shooting.
Well,
You
my
met
first
us.
my first reaction is getting into the gun world is one of my biggest, and that just goes to the bigger picture of just like becoming a full real adult and being able to build the life that I wanted.
So something cool about that is you didn't just get into the gun world and start shooting. You also created a podcast that we're all sitting here talking on that has
Yeah.
151 episodes. That's had probably 70 guests.
I don't know about that many or not.
couple
But,
dozen, I would say though.
but listeners all over the world for sure.
yeah, international.
So that's a pretty good achievement. I mean, it might not be your biggest achievement, but it
it's up
definitely
there.
goes
It's-
into saying that.
it's top 3.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say is getting engaged and being
There
able
it
to plan a
is. There
wedding.
you go.
Weather through the storm of a
kind of
pandemic
important.
is a big one, and being able to buy a house is pretty cool. I
Yeah.
did that
That's
a
always nice.
couple years ago.
That's adulting.
Like I
Yeah.
said, just
Very
being able to build the life that you want, and do that. But yeah, I mean,
Oh, we're proud of you growing up.
oh, thanks. I feel like a little kid right now. Everybody's staring at me.
I'm so proud of you, Mark.
Yeah, I hope I didn't dodge the question, but yeah, that's.
No, I think you did well.
That was a good one.
Now I know how everybody else feels when you ask these questions.
All right. We all know my favorite question.
I do.
Who's your favorite hero? Who would you consider yourself? You know what I'm saying. Who is your hero?
and it can't be Steve.
Well, besides Steve. No, I'd have to say my grandfather.
Awesome.
I don't know if I really talked about him much, but he was a World War II veteran, fighter pilot, grew up during the Depression, got shot down, while he was in the Pacific Theater.
Oh, wow.
Got the Silver Star for saving some lives during a bombing raid, Purple Heart, all this just all this stuff,
Why have we never talked about him?
I don't know, but yeah, he was. I guess I can talk about it a little bit now. It's just that he was in. He was
awesome.
He was in the Marines. He grew up in Chicago during the Great Depression. Lied about his age to become a Marine, and then learned how to fly Grumman F4 F4s. In the Pacific Theater, I guess during a bombing raid. I can't remember if it was like Guadalcanal or Midway or something like
Jesus
that.
Priest, really?
Yeah, he saved like.
We may need to have him back to talk about.
You're going to have to at least write an essay about
Yeah,
this.
he saved 2 guys that got buried in the sand when a bomb went off, but got shrapnel in his back too, or something like that. So he wasn't fit to fly anymore, so he came back to the States and sold war bonds.
Nice.
And then after all that, sold cars and raised a family and all that kind of stuff, and made it to 86.
Wow.
So I was like, to do all that and to survive through all of that is pretty admirable, I think. And,
Heck yeah.
and to still, raise a family and do all that is pretty crazy. It makes me at least thankful for kind of the relatively easy world we live in now by comparison. Yeah. And to know that that's in my genes is pretty cool. So.
Well, I think that it kind of explains about who you are too, right? I mean, some of that courage and things, because it takes a lot to move away from your family and go to a place that you don't know.
Yeah.
And be around people that you're not even sure you want to be around. that still takes courage. Maybe
takes
not
some risks.
Maybe
these weirdos.
Bombs blowing up around you, but that takes courage.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. It's just to be able to go through all that and make it to 86 is pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Cross my fingers, I got some good genes. So, but yeah.
That's way cool.
Man, those 5 questions are stressful, man. Now I know how you guys feel. So, but they're good. They're good ones. They make you think. So
completely outside the norm of the podcast. That's why I did it.
Yeah, to get to know his people. So, well, thank you all. I appreciate you coming and being here. And I'm not gonna. This will be my last episode for a while, but I'll definitely have to come back on.
Yeah.
And check in and see how everything's going. Yeah, I can be a guest. Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about recording any of it.
You can come in and check and see how we're doing with setting things up and recording and how stressed we are.
He said he could be a guest, but I didn't say how frequent of a guest he will be.
Oh, jeez. Well, and like Sarah said, I mean, people step away, they always come back to independence one way or another. So
drawn back.
But yeah, thank you all. It's been a privilege. So
it's been an honor.
If you want to get in touch with us, maybe have some ideas for some future episodes, send some words of condolence to Nick and Steve and Sarah, how the hell they're going to figure this out. Podcast at iishooting.com still works, and Facebook and Instagram at Range Minded Podcast as well.
Yes, me.
So,
well, thank you, Mark.
Thanks Nick.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
We'll talk to you guys next time.
You.
Stay safe, guys.
Thanks for listening to Range Minded. Find us online at Range Minded Podcast on Facebook, or send us an email at podcast@iishooting.com. We're always happy to get feedback, episode suggestions, whatever you want to send us, really. And be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and pretty much wherever else you get your podcasts from. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.